In 2007, Chris Mari, then 14 years old, had long considered himself a boy. He made the transition from female to male with the blessing of his mother and the help of his mentor, Evan Davis, who himself is transgender. Despite all the support, Chris still had one unfulfilled wish.
Well, I would wish to have a boy body.
The hormone blockers that Chris took prevented his body from turning into a girl's, at least for a while. But as he got older, they weren't enough, and they did not help him develop as a boy. Chris needed shots of the male hormone testosterone, or he might be a boy getting a period.
He had a little bit of bleeding, like a drop on a piece of toilet paper, and it sent him into a complete panic. So I called the doctor, and he felt it was time to start on the testosterone.
But the cost is high. Taking the shots is the point of no return. It means his ovaries will atrophy, and he won't be able to have children. And that's okay with Chris.
I was very thrilled, and Evan was very thrilled for me also.
I'm very thankful that he doesn't have to go through what I went through. Ready?
Evan gave me my first shot because he had been giving it to himself for the last couple of years, so he knew how to do it. Like, you know it's not going to hurt, but I get a little scared before each one anyway.
Now you have to have a superhero's Band-Aid. That makes all the difference. Yeah.
The day Chris had his first testosterone shot, October 13th, 2007, was a major milestone. It was also the day he celebrated having his name legally changed from Julia to Chris, and he got the new last name that he had requested.
When it came time to do the official name change, Chris asked if he could take Evan's last name. I said he'd need to ask Evan's permission first, and he did, and Evan was thrilled.
I don't think Evan did expect it, like me to ask for it.
But there was a huge obstacle to overcome. Chris also had to ask his biological father in Italy if he could add Evan's last name, Davis, to his own. Of course, Chris didn't tell his dad everything about Evan.
Well, my dad didn't know about Evan being trans also, so he met Evan and he actually liked Evan. And when I took Evan's last name and added it to my own, he was completely fine with that.
So he's now Christopher Julian Alexander Mari Davis.
And I was just totally stunned because, I mean, I thought, I can't believe it. It is the day that Chris and I became father and son officially. So it was, you know, a very big day.
I guess that's Dad over there. Say sort of?
Yeah. Stepdad? Stepdad? Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah, Dad.
In some ways, I think that, you know, the whole trans issue is separate from just the fact that he's a kid who needs a dad, you know, and I'm a dad who needs a kid. So like it was just lucky that we found each other.
Match.
Yeah, right. He's like me in a way that no biological child of mine could be, you know, the odds.
Now you got a perfect son.
With a gender change in common, it's not so strange that Evan and Chris hit it off. But their story spun into something else. Something that nobody had anticipated.
Well, it's kind of funny because it happened very quickly, very early on. After the first visit,
Mommy would get up every day, you know, every single day. You know, if someone was on the computer, she's like, "Move, I gotta get my email from Evan."
I was asking him lots and lots of questions. He was asking me questions. So we were really getting to know each other.
It became more intimate in a certain way, I guess. And she started dropping little hints.
You started it.
I did?
Yeah. He told me I had killer cleavage. that was when and I realized that, yeah, he's noticing something.
And Karina's kids noticed something too, and they did their best to move things along.
I remember the first time I kissed her was at Friendly's after we went out for ice cream. The whole family, the whole troop. Yeah, and the kids were all, very wired over that. They thought that was so exciting.
My daughter is very outspoken, and, we're in the restaurant, and she's like, so when are you going to ask my mom to marry you? So that was a little awkward, and definitely put a fright in Evan.
If Evan was frightened, he was not frightened off. But friends and family were not enthusiastic about the unusual romance, including Evan's sister, Ellen.
At first I was very skeptical, and I thought, I'm not so sure about this. This is all, he's just rushing into this, and I'm not so sure this is a healthy thing for him.
Coming up, can the unusual romance survive pressure from family and friends?
She gets angry if I call it a lesbian relationship. She tells me it's not a lesbian relationship.
He's just all man to me.